Hey everybody, thanks for joining us today. Sorry about the different type of video that you're going to be seeing of our review of episode 4 of Ahsoka. The reason why is that, as you could tell, I'm in a new location and our internet speed is not up to snuff to do a live stream. So we're doing this cut together version of our review. He's going to be shooting his video, I'm going to be shooting mine. He's going to be splicing it together as we talked about. So let's dive in. Let's talk about Ahsoka episode 4. So this episode was a lot better than the last one. Things were actually accomplished. Things were put in motion of bringing the main antagonist to the galaxy far, far away. So we start off like I just want to talk about this episode. Is my overall take is that this is a much better episode. So much happened in a small period of time. Now, it wasn't a big long episode. I believe it was a total of 33 minutes runtime of actual action of story. When you take out the opening, the recap, the title screen, and the end credits. End credits usually run about 5 minutes on one of these type of shows. So, with that said, I believe this episode was so much better than the last one. It makes me want to watch next week. I am looking forward to seeing next week. I'm really looking to see how they portray Thrawn on the screen. Like, we've seen the pictures of what he looks like, and the makeup, the costume, everything like that, down to a T, the white uniform, because he was a Grand Admiral, and he's the only non-human Grand Admiral ever to be in the Empire, which they stuck good to that in the not canon. So, big part of this was the massive amounts of lightsaber battles. It starts off with them fixing the ship, and then they're attacked by the assassin droids. The very smart robot hit the power out so they would know something was wrong outside, because they couldn't yell for help. Because they were covering his mouth, but he couldn't send a signal or something like that, which is kind of iffy. But mostly, it got them outside to start the battle with the droids, where they made short work of the assassin droids. But then you see Shin and Masked Man. I don't think they've ever said his name. If he did, I don't remember it. But moving on. So then you have Sabine, full Mandalorian, double blasters, not using the lightsaber to start off, and then you got Ahsoka dual wielding to take on lightsaber spinner thingy, different type of lightsaber that you've seen, except for the Executioner in the Fallen Order. Good action here. You see, it's well choreographed. She's coming through with the blasters, and then eventually she gets disarmed, and then they go back at it with lightsabers, and she's carrying Ezra's lightsaber. You did see that earlier she was looking for it, as it's her only tie left to him, except for that little message that was left back in her house on the original planet where they started. But beside the point, off the subject, we're moving forward. Ahsoka, even though her battle with dual wielding dude, he had some tricks up his sleeve with a little spinning thing, and he'd try to charge with it, and of course Ahsoka, being a semi-trained Jedi, because she never finished her training, cuts him. He dies. He turns into like this green mist stuff coming out, so I don't know who he is. I don't know the story behind him. I'm not going to speculate, but she made short work of him, because the battle itself was not long. But we make up for that as we get to the map. Big part, I love the map. The visuals is amazing. This was very well produced with the visuals, with this temple that's lining the map. You get the bomb under the table type plot point with them trying to get the hyperspace thing, which I really enjoy, because they're going to a place that they've never jumped to, that they know of. There's no history of it in the computer, and they have to recalculate everything from this huge map, which would take time, because Han Solo said it best: you don't want to jump into a star or into something that can do damage or kill you in hyperspace. So you have to have precise calculations, and it doesn't just happen at the drop of a dime. So I did like that they stuck to the guns, that they have to calculate this massive hyperspace jump between galaxies that was done by a whale last time, if we go back to Rebels. So it was done by something that uses this we would say arc as the whale's migration pattern, where they go and they mate. Remember, like salmon swim upstream to go back to their birthing grounds so they can lay their eggs, and then they go back downstream. And yeah, so it's that type of thing. I believe with the whales, like they use this to go to like a mating ground to mate more whales, and then they come back. Like they have a migration pattern, and this is one of their patterns, one of their paths. But we don't know it. We don't know the calculations and everything like that. We actually don't know how the whales work in this as well, the hyperspace whales. So them having to calculate the proper jump with all based off of what the map and everything that's giving them and how they're calculating it, I don't know, because there's probably a lot of unknowns that are from point A to point B that I don't know how they're calculating for. So there's that, but hopefully based on what they're trying to do is that the map is giving them enough information, and then the computer can compile it, crunch it, and make a safe path for them to jump with their super hyperspace ring. You did we're going to jump over to Hera, where she just kind of steals a ship, tells her lieutenant to cover for her, and her and I would say they're Rogue Squadron, but they're the Rangers, because you see the guy from Mandalorian, who's part of the Rangers, who's out there with him out in the Outer Rim area. But you don't want, if you have access to that actor, I would use him too. Like I said, you did see him in Kim Convenience, where he's really funny. It's a great show. It's about a Korean who owns a mom and pop grocery in Canada. I think they're in Toronto. But it's really funny. I would check it out if you get a chance. But onto that, they jump out on their way to rendezvous with Ahsoka and them, and they're trying to. And that was one of the big things with the ship, is that the ship didn't have long range comms. They couldn't contact her, let her know what's going on, and they kind of jumping in blind to this area. Then we get to the big lightsaber battle between Ahsoka and Braylon. You see, he has more of a broadsword type lightsaber, where hers are more, I would say, light, either short sword or katana style. And she goes one-handed against him. She doesn't bring out the dual wielding. And then you see that Shin and Sabine are keeping up their duels, and she realizes that Sabine can't touch the Force, and she calls her out on it, like, you have no power. And then she uses her Mandalorian bracelet to shoot her. But we get back to the main battle. That's a small part during the battle. They're battling it out, and before they start, he has that great line. He was like, he's like, your master would be proud. And he's like, you knew Anakin? He's like, there's many in the Order who didn't. There's many in the Order who knew Anakin. A lot of them didn't live to see what he became, which was a great line, because we all know that Vader hunted down the Jedi that survived Order 66, and would pretty much put them down. Now, including all the younglings he killed back in when he first turned. So, moving on, they have a great battle between the two of them. I thought it was well choreographed. It looked cool. It had great visuals. And eventually, Ahsoka gets it, so she disrupts the countdown of them processing the jump. And the Baroness, she's up on her ship already, and she's just waiting for these updates of them calculating the jump. Well, Shin hears something. She throws down the whole ninja smoke and disappears and runs back to the main battle where the map is. And then you see Ahsoka's there, and they're battling, and she sees Shin show up, but no Sabine, and she thinks Shin has killed Sabine, and so she just straight throws Shin into the wall. Not being a Jedi, she would not be. That would be okay because she doesn't have to live by the order of the rules and stuff like that. So straight throws Shin right into the wall, which upsets Balin, and you see him get into like a whole fatherly defense like of his apprentice, and he's just coming with some like hammer blows with that big broadsword style lightsaber, getting Ahsoka on the edge. Then she sees Sabine, and Sabine has the map because the map's been taken off of the pillar that's reading projecting the map. Holds the gun to it and was like, Ahsoka was like, "You need to destroy it." They had this conversation, call back to the conversation they had in the ship. Like, if we can't go ourselves, we have to stop them from going, because bringing Thrawn here would be worse than us not going there to save Ezra. So they have this thing. She has the gun to the map and like destroy it. Balin doesn't buy it at all. Straight hammer blows 2 more to Ahsoka, throwing her off the cliff. And then sweet talk Sabine into giving it to her because he knows she wants to save Ezra. Like he took a moment. Search your feelings, you know it is true. And boom, he knew exactly what her motivation was. Going from there, he gets the map, starts it back up, they finish the calculation. She sends the Baroness sends the shuttle back down to pick up Braylon, Shin, and now Sabine, who is their prisoner, to go so she can go and save Ezra while they go and bring back Thrawn. They had a great conversation in the lightsaber battle, like talking about like, you want to start a war. He's like, I'm not starting a war. Thrawn will bring a war, but it's for a greater good. And that's the thing, when you have good versus evil, it wouldn't be good if the evil didn't think that they were doing what's right. I mean, think of the Thanos. He thought he was doing what was right. His means were mean, but he wanted to bring more resources. So if you take about half the population out, that's more resources for the remaining population. So you have to have that dichotomy. I don't know the word, but you got to have that. If the bad guys know they're doing it just for bad, and they don't believe that they're right, I mean, everyone who fights in a war believes that they're on the right side of the war. Just think about that for a minute. Like, the Nazis actually thought they were doing what was right for the world. It makes you think. So then you have it where this little strike force of rebels show up right as they're about to fire up their hyperspace ring, and they didn't fire on them. They didn't do anything. They're like, ignore them, jump us. And you see that thing start firing up, and all of a sudden they realize, oh man, like there is a lot of energy coming from this that ring, and they're like, they're about to jump, and they try to get out of the way, but it jumps anyways. You see this massive line of power just go through them, and unlike in what was that, The Last Jedi? Yeah, Last Jedi, where she jumps through one of the First Order ships and it just completely destroys it. It puts them in like a wave of like electricity and stuff like that. It does cause ships to crash into each other, but it doesn't rip through them like a lightsaber, you could say, cutting through the ship. You see that like 3 of the X-Wings and the main ship, of course, with hair on it, survive. And then you have it at the end. We get to the end. And this is going to set up episode 5, which is supposed to be the longest running episode of the series based on what I'm reading online. And you have Anakin there. You have the robot. What's his name? So you have Hyan, voiced by David Tennant. I did not know that. I did not do my deep dive like I usually do on this one. So, my bad. That's David Tennant's voice. The good doctor. And he's there. He's trying to radio them. and find where they're at. Then you cut to the cliff where the little monument where they had the map. And then you see down and you see the waves. And then there's this great transition of you see the waves coming in, and then all of a sudden the waves are turning blue and blue and blue, and then you're out in space and you see this long line and you start seeing a little bit of Ahsoka's body. Then she's standing on this, I would say, sidewalk in space. And then she hears hears a voice behind her, and she's turned around like, "Master?" And his comment was, "You're a little here earlier than I thought you would be." And then behind her stands Hayden Christensen's Anakin Skywalker, dressed pretty much like he was right when he turned. I think his hair's a little bit shorter. So you can always tell a good guy between a bad guy in Star Wars, because good guys usually keep their hair short, bad guys let their hair grow long. But anyways, like I said, I really enjoyed this episode. The choreograph, the visuals were really great. It actually moved the story along. The stuff actually was accomplished, unlike episode 3, which was like, there was no point to it. Episode 3 and episode 4 could have been one episode, and I think it would have made the overall series better. Yeah, you would have gone down from 8 episodes to 7 episodes, but you would be giving your fans more. So I am looking forward to NetSuite. I want to see this long episode. I want to see Hayden Christensen back as Anakin and how well he portrays not really like a Force projected ghost, but Ahsoka and Anakin inside the Force having this conversation and probably taking her through this is your life type episode. So we'll see. Thank you again for staying with us. If you don't know, we try to go live every Wednesday and Thursday with our Ahsoka review on Wednesdays at 9:30 Eastern, our Winter Watch, which is the news of the week, on Thursdays at 9:30 Eastern. And then every now and then, because we're in the end of the year and it's horror season, we're going to be throwing out some more content. We're going to see what sits the wall, what doesn't. We're going to see what you like. We really want your feedback. Jump in the comments. Let us know what you actually think of what we're doing, how we can improve, because we're always looking to be better, because we want to bring good content to you. We are here for you. We're here for us, of course, but we're also here for you. We want to bring you stuff that provides good content, stuff that helps you get through the day. But anyways, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss great content like we're putting out. And go ahead and leave that thumbs up. That helps the channel with that algorithm so others may be able to enjoy this. And leave us a comment. Join in the conversation. If you don't like what we say, tell us why. Let's have a conversation about it. If you have a good enough point, we might even bring you on and let you explain it on camera to everyone about your point. We're not about just the two of us, and our opinion's the only one that matters. But leave us a comment. Let us know. Join in the conversation. If you disagree with us, let us know you disagree with us. But don't just say, "Oh, you guys are trash." Leave us a comment of like why you believe what you believe. Because we want this to be a community where we can come together and we can all talk about stuff. That is Star Wars. That is Marvel. That is movies that we grew up with. That is horror. That is sci-fi. That is fantasy. We want you to join in. We want this to become a community. Well, anyways, thank you again, and I will see you guys on the flip side.